Okay, welcome back to Flatworld. Today we're starting off with the Wandering Trader because last episode we got our first villager. The villagers are going to unlock a lot of new things for us, so we can grab a couple of new blocks we haven't seen before because we have some extra emeralds, and we'll immediately start growing that sugarcane. Yeah, we do have bone meal and we can bone meal it to rush it, but I mean, we'll just set it down here for a little bit. Those two sugarcane aren't going to grow super fast, but at least they're growing. In addition, we can get the coral and some other blocks that are not going to be obtainable in this world. So like the rose bush will be a way for us to get dye. And this trader has dripstone. That's going to be really important for us because dripstone is not renewable unless you have a dripstone block. So we bought a couple of dripstone to get a block so that way we can actually grow our own dripstone. And then we're going to need more carrots, so that means farming and trading away a lot of carrots. This episode we're going to focus on getting to the Nether and getting our villagers established so that we can actually progress heavily in this playthrough. The villagers are going to be an important part of what we're doing because we can't get some blocks like terracotta and other things without it. I came back to that same wandering trader to get some lilacs and some vines. I know I could get the vines later, but why not? Just mark it off the list. So to start with, we're going to put our dripstone point farm together, which is just going to be that dripstone block, and then dig a hole down and put the pointed dripstone. Another wandering trader shows up because I spend a fair bit of time AFK, and we get some acacia saplings and get some acacia wood. This is, again, one of the types of woods. It unlocks a lot of items, and I think in the near future we'll do a craft up all the items we can sort of episode. But for now, we're still just trying to get established. It's not necessarily about the item numbers, it's about getting all of the things we need to be able to progress rapidly, because there's a lot of grind in the early game, and we can really speed that up after we get established. So now we're back to lava farming. We set this up last episode, and I've been running it in the background. We've got a bunch of lava, but I'm not going to show you the AFK time and the other things that went into it. And now our villager has suspicious stew, and I'm curious which suspicious stew is this. So we're gonna eat it, and it is night vision. So nothing too interesting, but want to know anyway. We're gonna get some kelp because kelp is a nice renewable resource. Someday we might set up a kelp farm, grab some more lava after the wandering trader, and I think we technically have enough lava now to build our nether portal, so we're gonna get to that soon. And I get attacked by phantoms. I keep forgetting to sleep even though I have beds, and I die. Now that we're knowing that our pointed dripstone farm does work, but it needs a point on the bottom of the dripstone, we're gonna grab some more dripstone points because why not? We'll set up a bigger farm and get it moving. And now, off camera, the piglin farm fired. I had to make sure I was recording, but the piglin farm has gone off, and we now have a bazillion piggies. So let's see how much we get from chopping them. So I'm gonna put all my stuff in a double chest that we get, and we'll do the chopping a little bit and show you what the results are. Again, I would not recommend running this farm on a server with people on it because it will prevent all mob spawning on the server while you wait for it to go off. So don't do this on a server. This is really something intended for a flat world challenge or similar. It's really not meant for a real practical farm. It's not very fast, and it's kind of laggy. But you can see there's a lot of piglins. This is at two times speed, and we're still chopping. And more piglins spawn because the lightning struck the farm. Oh yeah, now they're almost all gone. Now, this farm, where it does work, it does require a fair bit of smelting. Look, we got 6 ingots and a whole pile of nuggets. So back to the wandering trader, and he's the only way we're getting any type of sand. And we're gonna need a ton of sand for making sandstone, because the only way we can make sandstone is by crafting it. Also, he's one of the few ways to get buckets of fish, and buckets are still pretty expensive, so I'll buy a bucket of fish. We got some cactus earlier, so we'll plant the cactus and start growing. And again, another villager. This time, we'll grab the packed ice because there's no way to build an ice farm. We'll grab some more dripstone points and all the sand again, because like I said, we're gonna need an absolute ton of sand. Now, this dripstone farm, I changed out to have a dripstone block in it off camera, and it actually works with the points in the dripstone block. So, like I said in the last episode, make sure you use the points and the blocks when you're doing the dripstone farm, but you don't need the points for a lava farm, or you don't need the block for a lava farm. I think that's a misconception that people have. So here I'm expanding my dripstone farm just in case I want more lava for a future project or whatever else I might need pointed dripstone for. Maybe a fall damage killer, because I can't do trident killers since there are no tridents in this world. Tridents require natural drown spawn, and natural drown spawn won't occur unless you have a river biome, and all of Flatworld is a plains biome, so there's no chance of actually getting another biome in here. So there's no chance of drowns. Well, other than drowned zombies, which the player makes. So back to our farmer, we're gonna grab some cookies and some cake and some glistering melon, because why craft them when you can buy them? And the bread trade will become important later when we actually have some villagers around. Well, now that we have enough lava, let's build another portal. I'm gonna save you the time of me bucketing lava around. You have to construct these in place, so you put water in weird ways and it makes the nether portal. The next thing we have to do is light the nether portal. Fire tick is on, and this is the only way you can actually light a portal in Flatworld. So if you don't have fire tick on, you're gonna have to turn it on for this portion. I saw this from watching Groovy Guy's stream. This is how he lights his nether portals, so I'm trying to emulate that. It's a little bit tricky and it takes some practice, but if you get it just right, it lights the portal up and the lava doesn't spill everywhere. So that's how I got in the portal. And then we're gonna just duck in the nether for a little bit, grab a couple of blocks, look around, see where we're at. And then we'll start digging for a path out of the nether. Whenever I go in a nether, I look around what biome I'm in. If I'm in a soul sand valley, nether wastes, or the basalt delta, I make sure I block up. If I'm in the blue valley or the blue warped forest, I don't really care. Or if I'm in the crimson forest, I don't really care, because ghasts don't spawn there, but they do spawn in this biome, so I don't want to get gas blasted and not have a way back home other than death. But somehow this guy picked up a warped crimson block. This is important because I don't have silk touch yet, and I got the block before silk touch, which is actually super useful. I can go to the overworld and farm those trees now. So I'll grab a couple of bits from that tree just because why not? We're working on it. And then we'll start digging our nether tunnel thingy, just random direction to see what we find. I'll also pick up one of the red mushrooms because I have that nylium if I want to farm it. So when you're digging along in the Nether, you sometimes grab these lava pockets. I just back up and start digging down, and it's become kind of an instinct, and you can save yourself that way. But after digging a few blocks, there's only like 120 blocks or so, we came across a fortress. I didn't seed search or anything like that. I just kind of started playing, and yeah, there's a fortress right there. And I die a couple of times getting in here. There's not a lot of interesting stuff that happens in the fortress aside from me chopping some blaze and doing a little bit of exploring. I need to get some nether wart so I can brew potions if I want to, and I need to get wither skulls eventually, because really there's only two ways to get black dye. The first way is to go and fish for hours upon hours on end, and the only other way is to fight a wither and get wither roses. After I was out, I crafted up a block of coal because I know I'm going to need that eventually, and I'm going to smelt some red sand. It's kind of painful smelting the red sand because it's not super renewable, nor is any sand, but I need to get some glass bottles, and I couldn't find my ones from the beehive excursions. So we're going to make a fermented spider eye and just craft up a potion of weakness. After that brews, we will take it and some arrows over to our cauldron, and then put our weakness potion in the cauldron and dip our arrows. If you're not a Bedrock player, this is how we get more arrows than you would get on Java. Then I go to my mob farm, trap a couple of zombie villagers, and fix my lava farm, make a couple golden apples with all the gold we got from the zombie piglin farm, cure up the two villagers, and just wait around for that to happen. And then we can go to setting up the first villager. We're going to do a shepherd, and this is because I wrongly thought that we could smelt shears. Apparently you can't smelt shears on Bedrock. That's new to me, but I also wanted to be able to trade away bone meal and white dye, and then eventually get beds, which I can buy yellow beds from the trader. But I was surprised that I couldn't smelt the shears, and that was bulk of the reason why I bought it. And when shearing a beehive, I didn't have a campfire underneath, and the bees just chased me around for a little while. They'll eventually not aggro. I don't know how you move villagers, but I like to move them in boats because they don't escape unless I have minecarts, and I like to move them in minecarts. So put a lead on the boat and swing around. And the lead on the boat is also another Bedrock exclusive. You can't lead the boats on Java. So now we're going to make a grindstone. The reason that we're going to make a grindstone is I learned that the shears aren't smeltable when I was doing this, and I need a source of iron in the short term until my iron farm gets up. And I also want to get the axes and other things from the villager as we go. But the grindstone is the only thing I could afford at this point that made the person sell me iron tools. So I'm going to take the iron tools and smelt them in a furnace, because that will get me a couple of iron ingots so I can make some of the other workstations. Until my iron farm is up, I don't know what else I could do to get iron at a reliable manner. Also, he's going to have an axe eventually, hopefully, a diamond axe and a diamond sword, which is the only way I'm getting those tools in a reasonable way. I buy the bread for my villagers. I don't grow it because it's really cheap, and it levels up my my villagers so I can see what's in them. And got a smithing table, and that's the next one I need. I really hope that they have a hoe and a shovel, and then the pickaxe is guaranteed. But you could end up with a axe and an axe and a pickaxe, which the weaponsmith will also sell an axe. So if we want the most efficient villagers, we want to get a pick and a hoe and a shovel. But we'll see what happens. So now I'm starting out an iron farm. This is not a design by anybody. It's based off of mechanics I learned from the old guy. But basically, all in the recent update, we have to have the beds 7 blocks above the beds have to be air, so doing 2 platforms doesn't help anymore. And then it's just making a big platform that the golems can spawn on. I am doing it 8 blocks of flowing water, and then 5 blocks of solid blocks, and then around the edges I will put a barrier so the water doesn't flow down. While I was doing that, a ton of villagers bred up and got ready for water. Now, putting the water in took some time, and I did it very carefully not to flood the villager area. And if you noticed earlier, I put a hole in the beds that matches the hole in the platform. I don't really have a way to collect items at this point. And there's a zombie. Let's make sure that we sleep the night away, because the area beside the iron farm is not lit up. So now, underneath of where the iron golems are going to spawn, I cut a hole and put a bunch of villager trading pods, and then I'm going to lock up the villagers. Make sure that your villagers can't grow up underneath of blocks, because they'll suffocate and die, and you don't want that. I extended the villager pods around the corner and just keep extending it as I get more and more villagers. But I use this trapdoor technique to keep villagers in. I learned this from T-Man. We call it a T-Man door, and I always build it wrong. But you put trapdoors and you can flip them in a specific order. That is not correct. You need it to actually flip inward, outward, inward, so that way you can get through. But that is how we get it to work. So now that we have our villagers in, we need to give them all jobs. And after we get them all jobs, then the iron farm will start working. And that's kind of where we will be ending at this time. So hopefully we can get a couple of villagers set up. I realized that I don't really have a good source of emeralds right now, so I'm going to jump into the Nether and get myself some gravel. And that gravel I'm going to convert to flint so I can actually get a fletching table. I know some people use the sticks trade as a way to get emeralds. After doing this, I'm not exactly sure that I like the Fletcher and the sticks trades for emeralds, but yeah, that's where we ended up. I also am going to try the butcher. I know I can get meat pretty easily. Grabbing the rabbit stew just to lock him in. Passive mobs are easy to get, so maybe I can use the beef or the pork trade for emeralds. But at this point, I'm going to make composters for the rest of the villagers and then just go AFK. I kind of have been sick of the random trades that we're using for emeralds, and I want to get onto iron. So after just standing below the hole in the iron farm AFK for a couple of hours, I got plenty of iron and poppies, and apparently there's monsters, but overall this is plenty good enough for storage and for a basic storage and some other basic hopper sort of tasks. And then after we get up top, we're gonna just trade this iron away to the toolsmith. The toolsmith will give us all the emeralds we need, and I think that's where I'm gonna leave it today. Thank you for watching. We've got our iron farm up, we've got to the Nether, we got a lot of blocks, and we can keep on keeping on with our playthrough. Anyway, if you liked, subscribe, follow, whatever you want to do. Bye.